Hey, it's Marco here from Fair Realty. So today I have a personal story. Recently I had Crown Liens placed against two of my properties for unpaid speculation tax, and these were placed by the BC government on my properties. So I went to refinance one of my properties downtown Victoria. I worked with a great mortgage broker. The lender was TD. TD Bank sent my mortgage broker a list of conditions or documents they needed, and they wanted 4 or 5 titles to my rental properties. And my mortgage broker, he pulled those titles and then he emailed me and he said, "Hey Marco, were you aware that you have Crown Liens against 2 of your rental properties?" And I was like, I had no idea. So I looked it up and it said Crown Liens speculation tax, and then I figured what the problem might be. I moved a few years ago, and 2 of my properties, I guess the address was never updated. So the speculation tax letters, they weren't even going to the tenants of those properties. They were going to a principal residence I sold and used to own years ago. So when I was filling out all my declarations for last year, I guess I just missed that I didn't have those codes for those 2 properties. The spec tax department, I guess they kept sending warning letters to that property I sold years ago. They didn't bother to contact me in any other shape, way, or form. I mean, you can Google my name and find my email, my cell phone. So after a while, they assumed because those weren't declared, the letters weren't being answered, they slapped these Crown Liens on those properties. So I called the spec tax department. I said, listen, these have been tenanted properties for 10 years. We went out through the declaration. They gave me the codes. I filled it in. I had to go through multiple departments because one property was registered in my personal name, Marco Juras, and the other property is registered in Juras Holdings, my holding company, and the same person, the spec tax department, could not deal with both. So I spent a lot of time on hold and whatnot dealing with this. Then when I filled out the declarations, I went to a different department which released the liens from my properties, and now my properties are clear title again, and I didn't have to pay anything for this. What are my issues? My issue is if 99% of people in BC don't pay the speculation tax because it's their principal residence or it's a rental property for them, why is the BC government sending out 1.6 million physical letters when it doesn't apply to 99% of those property owners? In this day and age, it's 2024. Why isn't there an email opt-in where you have all your properties and you can declare online for each property? Why do you need a letter for each property with codes? It just makes complete nonsense. Then on top of that, what's my other beef? The beef is these various departments. These are just people that helped me out in terms of doing these declarations, removing the liens from my property. I didn't have to pay a thing, so I was totally fine. But these are resources, very valuable resources, that are being removed from really important issues, such as actually providing adequate supply of housing. When you have entire departments working on a tax that doesn't apply to 99% of people, that's a huge waste of resources that's not helping increase supply of housing. And when you have such waste in the government, of course we're going to have an affordability issue. We're working on the wrong problems. First of all, it needs to be an email opt-in, so we're not sending out 1.6 million physical letters for no reason. Second of all, why are there not people working on the supply side of the issue versus putting these nonsense liens on properties, then having to release these liens on properties because the letter went to the wrong address? That's my rant for this week. Marco Juras from Fair Realty.